So those songs that we played at the beginning, you know, those are like those are number one hit songs. And songs are a reflection of the consciousness from which they came. So the idea is we probably need a little uplift in our understanding and our relationship to love. And let's face it, Hollywood makes probably half of their profits romanticizing codependency. I can't live if living is without you. And we buy into it, literally. We buy into it. But it's not just our culture, it pervades the entire planet. It's the nightmare we're here to wake up from. Happy Valentine's Day! In fact, in India, there's a thing called sati. It's a tradition that's been around for thousands of years. And what happens with sati is when the husband dies, and it's still practiced today, I just checked it up to see, it's not as prevalent, but it's still practiced. When the husband dies, they cremate the body. They always cremate the bodies in India, these big, giant piles of wood, like along the River Ganges. I actually witnessed it once. And the women then stand at the edge of the crematorium, and when that body is beginning to fully burn and the bones are burning, she voluntarily throws herself onto the fire because she literally thinks, I can't live if living is without you. Now there's a part of our consciousness that sees that as romantic. It's like Romeo and Juliet, oh, she swallowed the poison. Isn't that romantic? And so that's the part of us. Oh, I can't live. That's the part of our consciousness and our relationship to love that we need to heal, that we need to change, that we need to lift up to a new vibration. Because let's face it, in our culture, we regularly do the same thing for much less. People commit suicide from Dear John and Dear Jane letters. And let's face it, every single one of us in this room has at one time or another, and probably will again, commit to one degree or another emotional sati. Emotionally throw ourselves on the coals. And less, however, as we begin to awaken in our understanding of love. So of all the songs that we played at the beginning, one of them I consider to be actually a fairly enlightened song. Can anybody think of which one?
Addicted to Love.
Yeah, baby. Who said that? Tana, you didn't say that. I was like, man. Yeah, exactly. Addicted to love, because what's the first step to healing? Admitting you have a problem. You might as well face it. Let's just start with facing it. And that song is speaking on and reflecting on what I call the chemical reaction attraction. The chemical reaction attraction creates a false sense of well-being and happiness. Why do I call it a false sense? Because it can be taken away and ripped out of your gut faster than it came. You can be on cloud 9 1 minute and DEFCON 12 the next from 2 words. Dear John. Dear Jane. You can be as happy as a loon 1 second and at the depths of despair the next. That doesn't make sense. Can we agree on that? It doesn't make sense spiritually or logically. Whose emotions were those in the first place? Were they ever really yours? Because that which we have some ownership to can't just be ripped out of us. So in those moments, we have committed sati. We have literally thrown ourselves on the coals of the fire. I would say the single one emotion, the single human emotion that caused the most pain of any emotion is love. Happy Valentines Day. But the chemical reaction attraction has a profound purpose. It serves a holy purpose. You see, we are wired up to wholeheartedly jump into, volunteer for the most complex, confusing, intensive workshop the universe has to offer. We just walk right in because of the chemical reaction attraction, the workshop of love. What we're here to do, I believe, is literally to enroll to the workshop of love. That's what we're all doing. And the journey we're on is to walk up and take one new step to the next, higher and higher and higher in our understanding of love, up the steps until we find ourselves face to face with God in the mirror. Now, some would say that we arrived here that way as children. If that's the case, then we fell down the stairs, got bruised on the way, and hit the bottom. But that's actually the holy reason we're here. Right now, I'm going to lay it on you. People often want to, what's the meaning of life? I'm going to say it. This is a big moment. Here it is. Why are we here? What's the meaning of life? What's the purpose? Well, this is it. We are all here to act out in our own lives the eternal, true story of Adam and Eve. And we chose to turn our back on the Garden of Eden, to turn away from God, to turn away from the love of the divine true purpose, to step into the workshop, to go through each step, so that we can come back to the garden and know it for the first time. You see what I'm saying? Because perspective is everything. You don't know what you've got until it's gone. Started at the Garden of Eden. And as we step into the workshop of love, we come back and recognize for the first time what we have always had. We are each Adam and Eve. We are each on this journey. And it all begins with the chemical reaction attraction. Now, the origin of Valentine's Day goes back to the 3rd century in Rome with the Emperor Cassius, something like Claudius II. And he outlawed marriage because he thought that young men who were unmarried made better soldiers. But there was a priest named Valentine who continued, this is the legend, nobody really knows, but this is what they say happened, that this priest continued to perform the ceremony of marriage in secret. And so what he was doing was he was up to the holy work of signing people up for the most complex, intense, crazy workshop in the world with 2 simple words: I do. It's incredible that the chemical reaction attraction is within us to be overcome. It's Love 101. It's there, it's the beginning, it's the stage. And every 101 class exists to be surpassed. It's there, it's the starting place. 101, 201, 301, 401, and we have gathered together today to go all the way to 401. At least take a look at it. So hold on. The old statement, love is blind, is profoundly true. When we first meet somebody, the chemical reaction attraction creates a blindness. We don't see that they may very well be our perfect mate. You didn't think I was going to say that, did you? Because what? It is their flaws that make them perfect for us. And so we wholeheartedly just walk right in. We wholeheartedly walk right in, and we set ourselves up to be taking and be willing to take a look at the deepest, darkest corners of our soul so that we can heal and come back to the love of God. Of all the commandments, which one is the greatest? Love. Love God with all your heart and soul. Love your neighbor as yourself. Love your enemy. Love each other as I have loved you. That is one to really think about. Now, he didn't actually say love. Okay? That's the English translation. And a whole lot is lost in the translation. Because if you go back to the Greek, it says in the Greek that Jesus said agape. And you see, in the Greek, there are 3 words for love. At least 3 words for love. In English, we have 1, which is part of the reason why we get so confused. We need more words, man. In Greek, there's 3 words for love. Eros, which is the chemical reaction, attraction, sexual love. Eros. Philia, which is brotherhood, sort of brother-sisterly love. And the highest level is agape. And agape love is the love of God. It's the love of creation. It's the oneness of all things. It's the knowing and wholeness and completeness of which we forgot about, but we're here to remember, but is in us right now. That's the love we're here to learn. The love agape. Now the interesting thing is, once we reach the highest level of agape love, we begin to become blind again. It kind of goes full circle. The lights are on, but this time someone's home. Your mind is your own. Because this time you see the flaws, but you recognize them for the perfection they are. And so it's an enlightened blindness. Let me put it this way. If you could see that way in the beginning, we would never get involved with anyone ever again. Happy Valentine's Day. There are 2 basic reasons that the chemical reaction attraction exists. Number 1, to perpetuate the species, so we don't go extinct. It's basic, simple animal attraction. That's the first reason. But the thing is, here's the issue. There's plenty of us now. Enough. So really need that part. But I think and I believe that that is evolving into something different and more profound and sacred. But that's really maybe a whole other talk. But the second reason for the chemical reaction attraction, and this one is profound and mysterious and mystical and beautiful, and it even relates to the idea of sacred contracts, if you're familiar with that term. And if you've never really delved into this, it can be a little shocking at first, but I'm guessing most of us have exposed ourselves to these ideas. If you want to know more about them, please look at the book, Getting the Love You Want by Harville Hendricks. But there are many, many other books written about this. It's very sound science. Here it is. We are attracted to each other instantly, very quickly, and our subconscious mind can pick out characteristics so fast, and that's why sometimes love at first sight happens. We are attracted to people romantically who have similar characteristics and personalities as our primary caregivers. In other words, our mother and father, our uncle or aunts, or maybe other people who were around who helped raise us. Why? Why are we romantically attracted to those people? To heal all the areas in our life as children where we felt unloved, neglected, and less than. So we attract a being with similar characteristics so that we can heal each other of those areas of our life in an adult relationship now. We literally are together to heal, to become whole. And we're healing those childhood wounds, which is why, as adults, we often act like children. It's also why love is blind, because if you could see it coming, you'd run out of there like your head was on fire, man. Woohoo! So, what's more, and it begins the process of coming back. It begins the process of healing. But here's what's even more. What's more is this. So now we've got a partner who shares some characteristics, and they might be really small compared to maybe what your parents had, but here's what we do next. Now that we have a partner, we turn them into a big screen, and we begin projecting on them the same characteristics they already have, but 10 times as big, so it's right in your face, so you can't run away from it. So we can become whole and complete again through that holy union. Here's how it works. Let's say if you were a kid and one of your parents had controlling issues, and so you felt controlled and constrained by it. Ugh. So you grow up, you become an adult, and guess what? You're attracted to someone with controlling issues. You don't see it at first because you're blind to it. You don't see, you think they're your savior and they're going to heal you, which they are, but not for the reason you think they are. And so this is what happens. Check it out. So you get with this person. For a long time, you don't see it at all. You're just bleh. But then it wears off and you start seeing it. So now you're going to have a party, and you're inviting a bunch of people over for this dinner party. And your partner, who has a little controlling issues, maybe a fraction compared to your parents, but they still have it, they're planning the party, and they have assigned seats, baby, because they want everybody sitting in the right spot, because they have some controlling stuff. And they come to you and they say, sweetheart, tonight at the party I've created assigned seating, because I really like people to sit where they are, so I would like you to sit in this chair. And by the way, you look beautiful. Now, that's a little controlling. It might be a little much, I don't know, it's not that bad. But what you hear subconsciously, because you're projecting on them, because you need to heal this area, and so do they, what you hear subconsciously is, sweetheart, tonight during the party, you know, I've got assigned seating for everybody. I want everybody to sit in specific places. So you're going to sit here. And you won't be excused until you finish your entire plate. And if you would like to speak or go to the bathroom, raise your hand. By the way, you look beautiful. That's what you hear subconsciously, so you either swallow it or you react, you go, God, you're such a control freak. Or maybe you swallow it, and then they go, I am not, but they are, but they don't know. Yes, you are. No, you're not. Yes, I am. No, I'm not. Clink, clink, clink. Ah! The workshop begins. Now's the time. Or let's say you have this thing, maybe one of your parents or caregiver had anger issues. So you grow up, you're attracted to someone who has little anger issues. You don't see it at first, you think they're your savior, but they are, but not for the reason you think they are. And so they're at the computer and they're upset because it won't boot up. And they're going, oh, this stupid computer, it never boots up, dang it. That's what actually happens. What you see is the Hulk ripping off the purple pants and the green shirt and picking up the computer and going, nobody messes with the Hulk. Ah! And you say to them, you have such anger issues. I do not. Yes, you do. No, you don't. Ah! The workshop begins. And away we go into the healing and the movement back to the Garden of Eden.